Trackwrestling with Pat Downey. We're at World Team Camp. You are here. You feel ready?
Oh, I do, man. I actually just tweeted out, I feel like I'm peaking at the right time. So that's a great feeling. Like, come in here, have a great practice after a hard travel day, and you know, there's supposed to be that whole acclimation period, and I just came in and really felt like I had one of my better days of the summer.
What makes you feel ready?
Knowing that, you know, you kind of ride this roller coaster, at least me personally. You know, you have really good days of high energy where, you know, I'm wrestling the way I envision the sport being done. And then there's other days where I feel kind of run down and lackadaisical and lethargic and not as mentally focused. You know, I'm still always physically present, but I'm not always performing at, you know, my peak, if you will. So today was one of the days where I felt like I did my best wrestling, and it's good just seeing the fruits of my labor pay off. It's good when you have days like this after, you know, some maybe not so good days.
Some big changes from last year to this year, just as far as how you looked on the mat especially. What were those changes? How did you get better?
Man, yeah, it's been about a year, you know, maybe a little less than, since I've moved to Jersey full time, and you know, started training under Reese Humphrey's tutelage with Coach Goodale and Coach Ayers, and you know, Donnie Pritzoff and Dubuque and Gray and Leo and Pollard. I mean, so many guys from my coaches and then training partners, you know. So when you combine guys like Pat Brucky, CJ Brucky, Nate Jackson, all the other MMA fighters, I mean, I could just go on talking about how good the scene is in the environment, the New Jersey Regional Training Center. And then I'm close to home, so I mean, a lot of things changed, man. My personal life got better. Made some different life decisions, and like you said, the way I look when I wrestle on the mat, it's different. So, I mean, we have a great time. I look forward to coming to practice every day, you know? I don't dread a workout. In fact, I hate when we're off on the weekend. You know, I love going home to see my family and my girl, but I look forward to being there with those guys. You know, it's a family, it's a fun environment. And Reese, man, he really knows his stuff. Like, he'll say something to me, I might not pick it up the first day, which sucks because I'm really like a sponge. I absorb technique, and whatever you teach me, I usually can do it right away. But he's teaching world class. I mean, he's made 3 world teams. He knows what it takes to win at the highest level. So first day I might kind of, this ain't my style. Yeah, a week later I'm feeling it more. Okay, I feel I gotta be inside, but I don't really know what to do here. Boom, a month later, 6 weeks later, I'm mastering what he's trying to do, and I'm like, wow, this man was right. So he's gained my trust, and vice versa. I think he trusts me. He knows when I'm feeling good. He knows when I'm bouncing around and happy, and he can tell when I'm on, and he can tell when I'm off.
Just watching you and listening to you, it seems like you really appreciate Kevin Jackson. Why is that?
Yeah, if you watch me practice, yeah, KJ's my guy. Him and Reese will be the ones in my corner of worlds. I trust both of them, and KJ and I go back to Iowa State. You know, maybe not a lot of people know this, but KJ actually won the Olympics August 7th, 1992, the exact day and year I was born. So I almost felt like it was fate for me to wrestle under Coach Jackson. And just his style, when you watch him wrestle, you know, we're similar weights, we're similar builds. I mean, he can still show what he once done. He's not like some of these other coaches where they might have seen it in a book, or they saw Jordan Burroughs do it. I mean, Coach Jackson actually did it at the world level. His accolades speak for themselves. And anytime, you know, I'm in this sport to do what he's done. So to not appreciate the ones who have come before me would be to disrespect the very thing I'm trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? So yeah, when Coach KJ tells me something, I don't question or talk back. It's right. So I believe in him.
How rewarding is it for you to be in this place where we're interviewing you about to go into the World Championships? Think about all you've gone through. You're a junior world silver medalist, but to be on a senior world team, that's something special.
Yeah.
What's that journey been like?
Oh man, it's been so many trials and tribulations and adversities, and riding the roller coaster, highs and lows, if you will. But that's good. Rewarding is it, man. I mean, every day I wake up with a huge smile on my face. This has been a dream of mine, 20 years in the making, you know. As a little boy watching Cale Sanderson and Henry Cejudo and, you know, Jordan Burroughs, you know, when I went to Nebraska, when I did my junior world tenure. I mean, this has been a huge goal of mine, and just for it all to come to fruition with, you know, with all that I've been through. You know, so many times I could have just quit or tossed it in or taken a fight contract or, you know, let other, you know, options or coaching or business, let that deter me. I didn't, because I've stayed true to this vision, because I honestly believe in myself and my potential, and I hope to prove it next month.
You've also said some things about the Iowa coaches. Even though you didn't wrestle there, you tried to wrestle there. What'd you gain from that experience being around Perry and the Brands brothers?
Yeah, nothing but good things to say about them. Even behind the scenes with Ryan Morningstar, him and I were always drilling, and he did a lot to get me into school. And Coach Tom Brands, he said a lot of words that resonated with me. And Coach Perry helped me out a ton. His style and his unorthodox way of thinking about the sport, and just getting me in the shape like I've never been, and teaching me to hand fight and buy into this, because I already had good offense and attacks from the outside, and if I could just get inside and control the center and, you know, kind of implement that Iowa mentality into my wrestling, I would have been very successful that year at 97 or 84. I have no question about that. I know, you know, some of my best days of wrestling were seen in that Iowa Hawkeye room. And then I'd have special days where I'd get to go hang out with Dan Gable, you know, wrestling idol. And then for me personally, one of my wrestling favorites was Randy Lewis, Lubu. So getting to have him as like a one-on-one, I mean, he would spend 45 minutes after practice with me, and we would just talk and hang out. And, you know, when you find people that love the sport as much as you do, you know, it's hard not to enjoy being around them, and that's the culture at Iowa. And all the teammates, you know, I think they get a bad, you know, like a bad stigma about them, like, oh, they're all like, I mean, no, they're normal guys. They hang out, they have their fun, but they're just hard-nosed, and they represent themselves a little bit differently when it comes time for business. But no hard feelings towards any of the Hawks. You know, I love all of them guys.
Do you have an identity outside of wrestling?
Yeah. I mean, wrestling and being a combat athlete, and, you know, I pride myself in that a lot. So, you know, in this small knit community, when you make it to a high level, you know, it's a very select few. So maybe in this world, I might be known as just a wrestler, but you know, outside of wrestling, I'm always with my family. You know, like every time I'm home, I'm with my little sister and my mom, and, you know, my little sister Jasmine, my grandparents, my father. You know, I pride myself in being close to my family, and I also have Coach Humphreys. I also have a lot of friends, but, you know, not so much, because coming from a little rougher neck of the woods, everybody's not on the same goal as you. So I wouldn't say I had to cut a lot of people off, but, you know, just keep some friends from a distance. And I have a close-knit crew, you know, of a few guys that I always make a point to see when I'm home. But yeah, certainly there's an identity outside of wrestling, for sure.
What's that like? You say a rougher neck crew. What's that like growing up in something like that, an environment where it's a little bit rougher?
You learn to be smarter. You learn that there's people I met at a young age that might have been more talented than me, you know, and you know, there might have been tougher, more talented people that didn't make it out because they weren't smart enough to avoid certain situations. And I had a hard wake-up call in high school when I fell into a similar trap, you know. And in Baltimore, East Baltimore, where I come from, is a place that you don't make it out because the way it's set up is to keep you in, and it's hard to explain or understand that if you're not from that type of area. But one of the greatest things I ever did for my life was getting out of my surroundings in Baltimore and having some of that kind of stuff happen, to where I was able to go expand my fishbowl, if you will, because I saw how much more was out there in the world, how much more wrestling, how much more, you know, country there was, and the sport has changed my life just from that alone, being able to get out of that area and travel and become so much more well-rounded and cultured. It's very important, though, that you don't get caught up in the lifestyle that is, you know, maybe other cities, but especially Baltimore, from firsthand experience.
How about your dad? How influential has he been, and how much does he continue to be an influence?
My dad, man, I love him. They'll never be, you know, he's the reason I am who I am. There's no way around it. He was was the one making those sacrifices to take me to those tournaments, and he instilled being a natural, all-around athlete in me just by always having me busy in any sport, boxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, basketball, football, lacrosse, baseball. I mean, I was never a wrestler per se. And then once we kind of fell in love with the sport, it was a mutual thing. We decided to take that to the highest level, and you know, he ingrained some of the intangibles in me that I think can't be taught, like toughness and just the will to never, you know, give in to quitting. We know that, you know, Downeys, we don't ever give up. So with that being said, when you see me go through a setback, always expect a bigger comeback, and that's what you've seen in my career thus far. And still to this day, he's very influential. We might get into it a little bit with he tries to be more of a coach than a you know, and I have world-class coaching staff and partners, so we're always talking about his role, but he has best intentions. Everything he says is out of love, and I know that that's one man who will always have my back.
How about the hair here? You gonna keep this for the Worlds? You got long hair.
Yeah. It was growing a little too long on the top. It was starting to get in my eyes, so I just took it off, and then it'll regrow and it'll catch back up. But for now, I'm just gonna let it do its thing.
All right, Pat Downey, thanks.
Yeah, no problem, man.